Our last string example is slightly more complex in that it is essentially reversing the effect of group concat function from the previous video and extracting CSV or comma separated value list into separate rows of the resulting record set. Let's suppose we have a list, CSV, right, of 6 employee IDs. 1014, 1036, 1041, 1067, 1083, and 1092, all separated by commas. I'm going to use a simple select without from clause to create an EMP IDs record set consisting, again, of a single row and column listing all those 6 employee IDs. I'm going to do that in our same strings file that we've used before. So we're going to put it over here somewhere in between select excuse me, and I'm going to type the list. I should have had it in the comment somewhere. So it's 14, 36, 41, what else, 67, 83, and 92. They don't have to be in increasing order or anything like that. And we're going to call this as EMP IDs. So if I select that, right, it's simply going to give me that save copy. It's going to simply give me that right back to me. All right. Now, the next thing to do is to use the PT10, just like in a previous example, to repeat this 10 times. And then figure out how to cut the size to 6 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these IDs. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to put this select statement into parentheses. So just imagine it is that one single cell, right, with all this entire long string of IDs in it. Okay, and we want to call this as ID list. Okay, and then we're going to do the excuse me, we want to do the cross product with PT10. Okay, we're going to do the cross product with PT10, and we're going to start by first selecting um, um, everything from this to see if it works. Right, select everything from this to see if it works. And I don't need all these names, but that's fine. Right. So I have that same list of 6 employee IDs repeated 10 times, kind of like I had that delc repeated repeated 10 times in the previous video. Now, cutting this down to 6 because there are 6 of them is not as straightforward as it was in the previous example. It's a little tricky. It's going to involve the length function like we used in the previous example, but also a function called replace and a little trick that we're going to show in a second. Okay, so cutting these down to size with a where clause, we're going to have the same thing where pt10.pos less than equal to 6. But how are we going to get the 6? We're going to get the length of id list dot emp ids. Okay, so the length of the entire list. Okay, so the length of the entire list is essentially, how many characters are, in the entire thing, right? So we got 4 times 6, I guess you want to do them. I don't really need to do the math, but 6 times 4 is 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay, so we got 29 characters here. Okay, and if we subtract 20, if we subtract the length of this without the commas, then we're going to get 6. So if you get the length of this without the commas, which is 24, right? Then we're going to get 6, and we're going to have to add 1 to get to that. So 29 minus 24 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Okay, so minus, I'm going to go into the next little row. So we're going to copy paste this. Okay, but inside of this, I'm going to do replace using the same string, replace. Okay, inside that string, I'm going to replace the commas blanks, right? So I'm going to replace the commas with blanks. So the size of this, right? So the length of this should be 24 if those commas are gone, right? 29 because minus 5 commas, and then I'm going to have to add 1 to get to 26. So let's see if that works. Yep, cutting down to 6. Now, the trickiest part is now to actual extraction of each of the different IDs from each of the 6 rows. Okay, so we want to extract 1014, 1036, and so forth, right? We're going to use the substring index function, okay, to first extract from the left, for each one of these rows, from the left, we're going to extract until up to and including number of commas. So if I use the position as the parameter in the substring index function, it's going to, with a parameter of 1, it's going to extract 1014 because that's up to the first comma. Then with number 2, it's going to extract 1014 comma 1036 up to the second comma. For number 3, it's going to extract 1014, 1036, and 1041 up to 3 comma and so forth. Okay, so let's go back to the code. All right, and we'll say select. Okay, we're going to say select from the next line, substring index, open parentheses. Okay, now we have again here probably this from is gonna work. We need that closure here. Okay, we need the closure here. So substring index. Okay, from this. Okay, which I guess I don't have to give it a name. For ID list dot empids, right? So from the first of the 2 tables and from the only column in that table, okay, I want to extract, okay, using comma as a separator up to the pt10.pos, which is 1, then 2, then 3, and so forth. Let's save that and see if that runs. And I should probably call this something as empid, although it's not quite yet that. Okay, let's see if this runs. Copy. Line number 1. Okay, so I think I probably do not have, right, I don't have all my parentheses counted correctly. I do not have all my parentheses counted correctly. Nope. Right, so I did not need that last parentheses over here because this parenthesis matched with that one and then was using this as the unit and didn't need a parentheses, set of extra parentheses here and here. Go figure. All right. You see the triangular shape I was just describing, right? So it extracts up to the first comma, up to the second comma, up to the third comma, all the way to the end. Now we have to walk these guys backwards, okay? And we have to use the substring index yet again on each one of these cells or these rows, and extracting up to the, or down to, I should say, the first comma. So ignoring the first one, if I extract from the right to the first comma, I'm going to get 1036. If I extract from the right to the first comma, I'm going to get 1041, 1067, and so forth. So I'm going to put this substring in the next row. I'm going to type substring index again, okay, and open parentheses. And this whole index here, right, is going to be that, right, that string, but I can't use the s, so let me get that down here. And then comma, it's going to use again comma as a separator, but now it's going to use -1, which means going from right to left to the first comma. Okay, and that's going to be now called as EMPID, I guess, right here. Okay, save that. Select that, highlight this, copy, paste, and we should get all of them extracted, right? And now we simply use this, and I guess that last parenthesis I had was from the end statement. It's hard to figure this out. And then I'm going to select all the employees that have those IDs from the temp table to get the final result, to show how this type of subquery or set of nested subqueries would be used in the main query to get these people's names. Okay, so this is a little more complex string example, and this is a good place to pause again.